all the drama that goes on in Pine Valley. Whether it's Kendall slapping Ryan in the face, Greenlee breaking up with Aidan Devane, or Tad Martin trying to say that he solved the case instead of Devane. Oh, all my children. It was a great 9 years. You're listening to Pal's Chat Podcast, and this is Aidan Turner, who used to play Aidan Devane on ABC's All My Children.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to Pal's Chat. I am your host, Gina Parker. I'm here with my co host, Sadie Teal.
What's up?
Before we get into what we're watching, I really want to get into We Just Saw Each Other.
I know, that was so awesome. I was so glad. Like, it was the first time all four of us have been in the same room in probably over a
Five of
decade.
us, all
Five
five
of
of
us. Oh
us.
my God. I don't count myself. Five. Oh yeah, there's five letters. But yeah, I wonder who in my head I was mentally leaving out. Because in my head I was visualizing all five. It's probably
Y-
myself.
Yeah, it was probably you.
Yeah. But yeah, it was awesome. How did you like it? How'd you enjoy that little
I loved
fun
it.
reunion?
Like, basically, everyone but one of our friends is a co host on this show. So we had we had Lady, we had Heidi, and another friend, and that other friend I haven't seen for 5 or 6 years. So in person.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and getting
We
this.
also got one of our friends recorded each of our entrances into the party, which was fun to watch ourselves under surveillance.
I'm into the Christmas stuff now,
Ooh, yeah, it's that time of year.
and I'd like to promote one that I don't think got its due, which is The Bee Who Stole Christmas. I
What is
had to
this?
I had to buy it. I don't know where you can watch it, but it is RuPaul's Christmas movie featuring all drag queens,
Amazing.
and it's a great film,
That's awesome.
a great piece of cinema.
Okay, I'm gonna add that to the rotation.
All right, I think I can maybe share my purchase, so I'll see if I can
Nice.
send you the link
Hell
so
yeah.
you can enjoy. What about you?
Well, just recently, so this week, we had a whole bunch of like really like our schedule is really packed with like traveling and then helping people with stuff. So we've taken a few like movie nights of just like decompression and we've gotten into John Waters, which is a huge blind spot for me comedically. Like I feel like that is essential viewing for somebody who wants to like make videos and do comedy. And I finally watched Female Trouble and Multiple Maniacs, and that shit's hilarious. It still holds up. I see so many of the seeds of like comedy that like was to come. It felt very Tim and Eric Awesome Show at certain points with the casting. Divine is just incredible. And yeah, I highly, highly recommend John Waters' whole catalog. I haven't gotten through it yet. I think we're gonna watch Hairspray next.
Yeah, he's a blind spot for me as well, and I just want to warn our listeners, it's a little.
Oh yeah, it's trigger warning. It's extremely outrageous. It's edgy comedy. There's Divine is basically like, I don't know, Bob from Twin Peaks, like a force of evil, unabashedly evil in all their actions and completely outrageous. But there's been some like very shocking moments in the movies that I would love to speak about, but I can't without spoiling the shock of them. So it is like, I know like I'm kind of distancing myself from like irony poisoned comedy, but this feels more like
Camp,
edgy in
right?
a subversive way. Like it's not punching down, if that makes sense. It's more like taking a swing at like culture as a whole, like American culture.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense, who knows?
Well, I'll try and check one of those out to
hmm
discuss with you.
Female Trouble, yes, I would love to talk about that.
Great. Fantastic.
hmm
Oh, and I just wanted to say that this is our 40th episode,
Whoa.
and as a treat, one of the All My Children actors is doing an intro for this episode.
Nice. Which
Aiden
one? Who'd you bag?
Aiden Turner, who plays Aidan Devane, we're decades away from him. And he's a character who I always felt sorry for. And I feel like we can talk about this because by the time we get to his episodes, who knows where we'll be in our lives. He is a character, he was a spy turned private investigator for his duration on the show. And during his, I'd say, almost a decade on the show, he had so many love interests and they never quite worked. And I always felt bad
Oh.
about it. But it wasn't, I don't think, due to lack of chemistry or anything. It was always
Mhm.
like he got the women in between going back to their main guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Was he like a maybe like an open agent for ladies watching? Like he's the attractive one that's, heartbroken and single that I can imagine myself with. Is it like one of those things where the producers were like, let's keep this one as a little fantasy option for our viewers?
I think so.
Yeah, you
And
can't
so
tie that down.
I'll show a brief clip just for the listener, viewer.
I'm telling you, I can read anything. I can read my partner. The story of supposed mercy sex is a lie. It's a fiction.
Well, of course it's not mercy sex, Tad. Look at the guy. That face and the muscles and the accent.
You're right. Move over. I'll sleep with him. You're trying to turn me on. It's not working.
Please, he turns everybody on. Any woman would do anything for just a few hours with him.
Exactly. So why is he here talking to us?
You know what? I was just about to ask myself the same question.
Because he knows that we love him.
It's nice.
So, is there anybody out there who is interested in you?
Okay. Listen, the woman was real, and the offer was fake.
Vindication. Let this be a lesson to you. Looks, muscles, accent, highly overrated.
Yeah, right. Women don't go for that kind of thing at all.
Anyway, I wasn't interested, okay? Not
Okay,
interested.
listen, we're gonna go out on the dance floor and see if there's somebody who is more your type. Now, come on.
Crystal, please, I'm not a line dancer.
Mercy on the
Just
guy.
want to make him smile.
Will, when you let him get back to his beer.
Oh, come on, hush.
Good. You better do it then. She'll put a stiletto heel through your instep.
Be quiet. All right, here we go. Come on, Aiden. Grapevine. Woo-hoo. Do it.
Works for the flip-flop, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty good.
So
So
he
yeah,
was the,
non-committal, like anyway, yeah, I liked that line dancing bar. I would go there.
so he was the one line dancing.
Nice.
The other gentleman in the scene is Tad, who we've been talking about a
Freaking
lot.
Tad. Tad very handsy, I gotta say. I don't love it, Tad.
And we do have our 1 year anniversary is coming up of the podcast in March, and I already have an intro set aside by
Hell yes.
arguably my favorite villain of the show with
Ooh.
an asterisk because I feel like Sarah Michelle Gellar is one of my favorite villains of the show. But when Sarah Michelle Gellar leaves, they recast the role and then it becomes a heroine. But during her time on the show, she was such a great villain. Um,
Amazing.
she had the aspects, and I hate that we keep bringing up Buffy, but it's a touch point for both of us, I think.
Mm-hmm.
She had like a lot of the Spike characteristics.
Oh, that's
Um,
cool. I was thinking Cordelia, because I know that's what she was originally reading for with Buffy.
yeah,
But I like
so
Spike. That's cool.
like she was like the legitimately threatening villain at times. She
How
was
old was she? Was she like 17 or something?
Yeah, I think she was like 15 or something. She was a
Wow.
teenager, and I think the role was like supposed to be cast as like a child at first, but for reasons we'll get into, it wasn't believable that Susan Lucci's daughter that she had before the start of the series in the 70s was a teenager. So they kept Sarah Michelle Gellar, but they made her in her 20s. And so it was like a teenager playing who was still in high school. playing a
Amazing.
20 something, but she was like legitimately very terrifying and scary when she wanted to be, but also very funny, quippy, charming villain at times. She was the redeemable villain. She had like a tragic backstory. Like she had all the like villain check boxes, I feel like. And Sarah Michelle Gellar could do all of it. You know, she could
She's
be
amazing. Truly, like even I just watched Southland Tales, which that movie is absolutely absurd. I love it in a way. I can't recommend it though, but she's in that movie and she's hilarious. She's one of the strongest parts of that movie for me. I think her comedic timing is really great. And I could see her like the thought of her being able to carry a villain role like that at 15. That's quite impressive. Good job, Sarah Michelle.
Mhm. And there's a I think she told a story at some point that like her dad wasn't really in the picture, and so when she
Mm.
graduated high school, like the All My Children cast went to her graduation to be like her family for her,
Aw.
which is nice. That's what they say about this show a lot, is because it filmed in New York and almost no other shows did. It
Hmm.
was, the cast was very close whilst
They
they
were
were
a
on the show.
family.
Hmm.
That's
Though there
awesome.
was also some behind the scenes stuff, but any hoozle, we're going to be talking about September 1984. So
Ooh.
the episodes are 10, 11, 12, and 24 and 25th of September. Before we were talking about Guess the Death, that kind of stuff, and you guessed it would be tragic, and
Hmm.
you were correct. Uh,
That's a pretty that's a gimme though. Death is tragic. Come on. You can't give me too much credit for that.
well, I mean, you just have an instinct for this stuff, which I respect. You know, you could be a writer of these things,
Oh yeah, I should try that.
or like a story breaker, I guess.
I
You
would
don't have
love,
to write.
honestly, that would be my dream role is to write for either a soap opera or wrestling because I they are very similar in the type of like ridiculous, absurd stakes that they engage with. That would be amazing.
So, so it was basically Greg and Jenny were the happily married couple, and that couldn't last, you know. So, uh,
Hmm.
what happened was Tony was Jenny's ex-boyfriend. He wanted to get back with her. Tony's like, if only I just kill her husband, then I can be with Jenny. Is his
Seems easy enough.
That was his method of thinking. So he rigs Greg's jet ski to explode, knowing that Greg is the only one who ever rides on it.
Uh-oh, I don't know about this. Seems like a lot could go wrong with this plan.
Well, the thing was, he did it knowing that Greg was the only one who could ever ride it. But then Jenny's like, I want to be adventurous. I'm going to go for a ride. She
Of
goes for a ride.
course.
He dies.
On an explosive jet ski, I never could have predicted that.
Yeah, you had some good guesses in there, though.
Yeah. But man, yeah, that's foolish, you know? Jet skis are like if you go to a lake or something and there's a jet ski, everybody's hopping on. I don't know if I know a single person who only they're like, this is my jet ski and only I use it.
Well, I think the thing was she was scared of the jet ski for a long.
Oh, so that's sad. This is the end of her like hero's journey where she overcame her fear of the jet ski and boom.
Yeah,
Isn't that how life
of
is?
it. She should have been scared of that jet ski. Uh,
Proving her correct.
so anyway, she dies. So Greg was in mourning, and then he was looking at his pictures of their last trip together, that trip where she died, and he saw Tony's car there,
Of
and
course.
he learned that the jet ski was tampered with to explode, and so he puts two and two together and is like, "Oh, he killed my wife."
Wow.
And so then he tracked him down to New York. He's been chasing him, and they're getting into
And that is a
fisticuffs.
nice, long, extended chase scene. You know they're filling minutes on this episode. I wonder how long, if you were to take like account of the episode, they spend running away from each other.
It's a good question.
Good 5, 10 minutes, maybe. I like the creativity of what I was seeing. The fighting over the door shot, I may have to steal.
I don't know. I'd love that. I'd love that for one of your movies. They fight on the roof.
I love a good roof scene. You know, when things get on a roof, I'm really having fun.
Tony sees a girl who looks like Jenny, loses his balance, falls to his death. He's dead.
Oh my God. Just from he was like leaning too far looking, huh? What? What? Right off the building?
Yep.
That's pretty dumb. That's a stupid way to go.
Yeah, but we had to get justice. And
Yeah, there he is.
no blood, just his body.
Yeah, it looks like a little doll or something.
They just told the actor go lie in the cement.
Yeah, they
Uh,
should have just a little pool of blood would have done a lot for that.
so that's the end of Tony. We got justice for Jenny, kind of, I guess.
Now, is there any so did we see the jet ski explode? Is there
Yeah.
any chance that she didn't actually explode?
No, and I've said, I think when I was asking you guys this, but it was probably weeks, months ago, that
Hmm.
basically she's someone who dies and never ever comes back.
Dang. I was
Uh,
thinking maybe even an evil twin or something.
well, it goes in a different sort of way that the fans don't really like either.
Mm,
So, so what happens next is that woman that Tony saw that looked like Jenny, people start
hmm.
seeing her everywhere. And so it's like around town, reporters are calling Greg because Jenny is a former model. So it's like a celebrity death. And then now they're seeing her everywhere. And they're like, maybe she's alive. And like Greg's at like a seance going
Oh
to,
wow.
try and get in touch with Jenny. At the end, it's revealed it's all a publicity stunt. So Jenny's former
Yeah.
Jenny's former modeling manager, Olga Svensson, found another pretty girl who looked like Jenny and hired her to call Greg and call all of Jenny's friends and walk around town and hang out in the cemetery, dressed as a ghost to drive up publicity for her new modeling campaign. But
Oh my
eventually
God.
she can't go through with it anymore and confesses to Greg. And Greg's pissed because his wife just
Hmm.
died and this
He was
campaign is
given some
very cruel.
false hope.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so her name's Sheila Thomas, and she becomes a character on the show. And fans did not like this storyline because, Greg and Jenny were a super popular couple, and this thing doesn't really work. But from what
No.
an actor said, talking about it decades later, was you know, they were an extremely popular couple, in the 80s, and Kim Delaney wanted to leave, and I think the writers thought she was just angling for more money because she was so popular, but
Mm.
she's like, no, I genuinely want to leave. I've done my 3 years. And
Mm.
and so when she left, I think they had to scramble a little bit.
Oh wow. I wonder, like, did she just hate the industry? Is she like some independently wealthy person? Or did she think like, oh, this is ruining my chances of being a film star? There are many options.
It was the latter, I think, because she did go on to continue acting and was on other shows like
Gotcha.
Primetime.
She didn't want the soap opera stink on her. Although a lot of people have overcome that, I think.
Yeah, I
George
mean, just
Clooney.
hmm I mean, coming up in I think the next couple years on the show, we have like Wesley Snipes,
Oh
Bra
wow.
Bradley Whitford, Sarah Michelle Gellar, who I mentioned, so there's a lot of
Hmm.
big names coming up. Christian Slater was just in episodes. Um,
Nice.
Kelly Ripa is going to come on and be on for more than a decade. Donna and Tom, and basically they're just starting to date now that he and Brooke are done. And so that's what's going on with them now that his drinking problem is also gone, I guess,
Mm,
for now.
I know.
Adam Chandler, Erica's husband, his plane exploded and with him presumably on it. And so everyone's fighting over his money. His ex sister, well, I guess his current sister-in-law, thought she
Hmm.
was getting all his money from blackmailing him about the death of his first wife, Althea, who was rich and then died mysteriously after he married.
Ooh. So there's a lot of like scandal going on with this guy, and there's no way he was on that plane. No way. He's just gonna bust in the middle of them like arguing over his riches, I'm sure.
Well, she thought she was getting everything, started bossing everyone around. It turned out he left everything to Erica, so she's back being
Yes.
poor.
Erica wins again.
He always does, you know,
Huh.
but they also suspect that ex-sister-in-law Joanna, who was blackmailing him, also made his plane explode at this moment in time.
Yes.
You know how it is. Don't get
Yeah.
along with your in-laws.
I've seen a lot of Thanksgiving meltdowns on TikTok. I understand family is tough.
The weird thing, I could never get into this sister Linda as a character, and I don't think anyone else could because she doesn't last much longer. But
Dang.
she's really like rooting for her brother to cheat on his wife with his young college age coworker, and she keeps trying to
Weird.
make that happen. And it's like, girl, what's wrong?
What is her motivation to do that? It seems very strange.
He doesn't like his wife. Um,
Mm.
feels like the wife is very hard on her, but also she does a lot of crimes and lying. So, like, take some responsibility, Linda, and stop
Hmm.
trying to convince your brother to have affairs.
Yes.
You
Like as if
weirdo.
you're like, and the college age thing is really weird too.
We have Phoebe and Langley. They were broken up for a while. They made each other jealous with other people, and it worked. They're now back together.
I love it. That's amazing. That just their whole vibe, it reminds me of like a Lucille Bluth and like, oh my God, I just forgot the name of her husband, Oscar Bluth. Up and
And so,
down, but they
yeah.
still come back together.
So Palmer found out that Ross is his long lost son, and he's always been obsessed with having a son. So he starts neglecting, his daughter, who's a fully adult and married and has a child. So
Probably
take it
doesn't need
easy,
too much.
maybe.
Yeah.
But but she's feeling very neglected from being the apple of her father's eye to not. Sorry, Nina's very vulnerable right now because she no longer has her father's love or whatever.
No, no. Is it legit? Like when you're watching it, are you going like, man, he's being ice cold, or is she just like extremely needy?
It's both. I think
Both.
he's an extremely obsessive man,
Hmm.
and he, you know,
If
he's
you're centered in his obsession, it's like overwhelming.
and so now he's obsessed with his son, and so I think he
Mm.
is neglecting his family, but also like Nina, you're an adult. Like
Nina, come on, get it together. You can do this.
Palmer has been trying to connect with his son. His son wants nothing to do with him. Like, you walked out on my mom. I was raised by my, you know, uncles for all this time, and I have want nothing to do with you. So
Hmm.
he hears that Ross has a secret illegitimate son raised by some other rich guy, so he's tracking down Cynthia Preston, who's recently widowed from her rich husband, and Andrew Preston, the supposed illegitimate son. But it becomes clear that Cynthia is running a con on Palmer.
I love
But,
to see
but
it.
yeah.
Lots of lady con artists in this show. I like it.
Oh yeah. Christine Baranski is a con artist in the next
Awesome.
segment of episodes. Tad got Dottie pregnant.
Sad.
And yeah.
Wait,
It
Dottie's the one that he's supposedly married, like, or he's with because somebody's paying him, right? The gorgeous, like, supposedly plus size
yep.
one. Uh-oh. So now he's stuck.
So he like broke up with her, got with his true love, Hillary Wilson.
Mm.
So they were happily ever after, and Hillary finds out Dottie's pregnant and she's keeping the baby. And Dottie and Tad fight about it because Dottie's like, get an abortion. She's like, no. And she even threatens to tell Hillary at one point, but backs off because her real objective is that she truly loves Tad.
No.
And I think she went off her birth control pills to get pregnant to hang on to him.
Oh no.
Uh,
Dottie, what are you doing?
but finally she agrees to leave town. And Tad's like, this is great news. I can go back to Hillary and say, hey, she's leaving town. And Hillary's like, dude, I just found my father like a month ago. This is hugely traumatic. I can't let you do this to a child. So,
hmm
uh, I'm
Read the room.
I'm not interested in you being a deadbeat dad. And so then Tad talks it over with his mother, which is a scene I want to get to because it is a realistic scene in that like when we were having these soap operas back in the 50s when,
hmm
soaps were very popular. It did make sense that if you had a child out of wedlock, you may want to get married. Uh,
hmm
but now we're in the 80s.
Where that's like, it's less of a definite, you need to marry this person.
Yeah. And
Ultimatum.
and he's like, I don't love her. I don't want to be married to her. And he asks his mom, like, what do you think? And his
hmm
mom's like, I don't think you're ready for marriage either,
That's pretty good.
which is correct. But everyone's guilting him, like, you need to be in this kid's life. You need to do the right thing. Like, this woman was paying you to date her daughter. You were sleeping with her, also trying to cheat on her with Hillary all the time, and like, reap what you sow. And so finally, he gets guilted into marrying Dottie.
This is not going to end well.
He regrets it immediately.
Of course.
But so that's where we leave things with them. He loses the woman he loves due to his own bad behavior.
But Dottie makes it out pretty okay
For now.
for now.
All
A
right.
nice little
Winners,
loveless marriage.
winners and losers of the week.
Winners, I'll say Dottie. She got what she wanted. Tad's marrying her, and she had the baby she wanted to have. She's winning right now. I know she has a far way to fall, but and then also Erica Kane for getting all that money. Of course, she's gonna win in that whole debacle. And then losers, Tad's a loser, and I'm happy about it. Like, I like when Tad suffers. I think it's a shame that that suffering will affect his wife and child,
Hmm.
but he has to deal with a little bit of consequence once in a while.
Yeah, I agree with both as your winners and losers. I'll co-sign Erica because she was cheating on her husband and still inherited all his money.
Amazing.
And he was a billionaire, so it's a lot of money.
Nice.
And and for loser, I'll say Tony for tripping and falling to his death in a real
Oh, that's yeah.
in a real White Lotus move of just he murdered and then immediately karma got back to him. So
Yeah.
that's I think it for this week. Thank you so much, Sadie Teal, for
Yes.
joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well,
Well,
bye.
bye.
Thank you for listening. Our theme song is Wouldn't It Be Nice by Sound Mirage featuring Lady Rand. Please rate and review, download, subscribe, all the things. And you can email us at amcrewatch@gmail.com. Thanks. Talk to you next week.